of the Sahaba, due to the instruction of Rasulullah, that no one stands in respect of other people. You don't do that. You see in our Sharia that even Rasulullah, when he came in to the masjid, the Sahaba, they stood up and they said, no, don't stand for me. So if we can't stand for him, who can we stand for? So when you meet brothers, keep that in mind. Why are you standing up? I think that's the important reason. Why are you standing up? Okay, if you're standing up to give them a hug, then that may make sense. But just to stand up, just like as a sign of respect, like people do for kings and queens or whatever, that we don't do. So in this case, this man, Suhail ibn Amr, he walked. So أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الذين يبايعونك إنما يبايعون الله يد الله فوق أيديهم فمن نكث فإنما ينكث على نفسه ومن أوفى بما عاهد عليه الله فسيؤتيه أجرا عظيما. Verily, those who give bay'ah to you, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, they are giving bay'ah to Allah. Bay'ah means pledge. The hand of Allah is over their hands. Then whoever breaks his pledge breaks only to his own harm, and whoever fulfills what he has made as a covenant with Allah, He will bestow on him a great reward. So this is one of the verses of Bay'atul Ridwan. So Battle Ridwan is another name for the battle of the Treaty of Hudhaybiyyah. Bay'atul Hudhaybiyyah, Bay'atul Ridwan, so interchangeable. So going back to it, Suhail ibn Amr is having this, is further, fleshing out the terms of this treaty. As he's fleshing out the terms of this treaty, he says what I just told you earlier, that no man shall leave Mecca except you're going to return him. No man shall leave Medina except we're going to take him. And then verbally, Rasulullah agreed. But it wasn't written down by this point. Verbally it was agreed. A Sahaba by the name of Abu Jandal, radiyallahu anhu,
his son,
who is Suhail ibn Amr's son, yes.
Yeah.
So he then came, he was being tortured, he was a Muslim, he was tortured for I think a few years. He was in Mecca, he escaped, the Meccans caught him, and he was there, and Suhail ibn Amr wouldn't let him go. And so he heard that the Muslims are just outside. He managed to escape, and he took him several hours, and probably barefoot as well, until he reached the camps of the Muslims. When the Muslims saw him, they were so happy. They haven't seen him for ages. Our brother, we missed you. They're so happy, we're not going to let you go, And then, that's what they're thinking. Surely, we're going to defend you now with our life. You're here, you're never going back. Right? Imagine, put yourself in that position, right? And then it reached the tent where Rasulullah and Suhail ibn Amr was. That Abu Jandal is now in the company of the Muslims. Abu Jandal said, let him go now. Give him back to us now. Rasulullah said, oh come on, just leave him. Forget about him. Ask there's anyone else? Okay, fine. So Rasulullah said, no, you give him back to me now or I'm walking back. And you have to remember, this is after several messengers have gone back and forth, rejection, not accepting terms. And remember, the Sahaba were there for 6 whole weeks in the hot weather, camped outside. That's school summer holidays, man. That's a long time, right? So they were there, camped out, and then Rasulullah pleading with him, please let him go. The Sahaba said, we have never seen Rasulullah plead with someone like we did see him on that day. Never. And he said, please let him go. Please, look, you can do it. Okay, we'll do the treaty. Just one man. It's one man. Come on, let him go. He said no. But look, Rasulullah was but at the same time, he was extremely determined to make sure a treaty happens today. We are not leaving unless there's a treaty, because it's so important for the Ummah at the time. Eventually, he agreed that Abu Jandal would be returned back. What do you think the other Muslims would be thinking right now? Furious. And it goes back to what I said earlier. Some of them were saying, if there's one day that I could disobey Rasulullah, it would have been that day. And some of them were so distraught. After that treaty was written up and Abu Jandal was taken away, and Suhail ibn Abu, treaty was signed and everything. But remember, the treaty, after it was signed, Rasulullah Uthman ibn Affan wasn't there, radiallahu anhu. So Rasulullah pledged on behalf of Uthman, which he didn't do, which he's never done for any other Sahaba. He said, right, Uthman isn't here, my hand can take it as Uthman's as well. So look at the relationship they have, how much love he has for Uthman. And Uthman is obviously his son-in-law from two of his daughters, right? So because Uthman was in Medina taking care, and I think one of his wives was ill. So, one more minute. Then Suhail ibn Amr went, the Qurayshis went back to Mecca. The Muslims were so sad. The entire 1400 Muslim camp was distraught now because we let Abu Jandal go. And not only that, while that was happening, Abu Jandal went face to face to Rasulullah and Suhail ibn Amr and said, Ya Rasulullah, come on, don't leave me with them. Don't leave me with them. And Rasulullah at the same time was pleading, let him go, let him be with us. Suhail ibn Amr was saying no. But then what persuaded Rasulullah at the end was another man from the Quraysh who wasn't Muslim. He said, okay, look, I can see there's some sort of stalemate going on. I pledge my protection over Abu Jandal. No, nothing's going to happen to him. And so then Rasulullah agreed. Okay, so as long, you know how it worked back then, as long as one tribe or someone gives protection over another person, no one else can touch that person. Right? And that's exactly how it works still today in Saudi. Right? That you have to have a sponsor to look after you if you go there without an Umrah visa or a Hajj visa or whatnot, if you want to go around in the parts of the country. So if anything happens to you, they're responsible. So that culture still remained. So they went back, and Abu Jandal obviously years later, he did escape. But now the Muslims are distraught. The next day, Rasulullah said, right, and it was agreed as well. So one of the things that was agreed is that they're not going to make Hajj this year. They're going to have to turn back. Whereas they came in preparation for Hajj. One of the other Qurayshis who came and said, they have come to sacrifice their animals. This is haram even for us to refuse them. Even in our customs. The whole of Arabia was shocked. How could Quraysh not let these guys in? Yeah, because they've come with thousands of animals to sacrifice and give to the poor. That's it. And they've been refused now. And this, even by their terms, by their religion, is blasphemy. It's not acceptable. But the Quraysh look at the lengths they're willing to go to stop the Muslims, right? And one of the things they will say is that we're not going to have the other Arabs say about us that the Muslims had the upper hand. Just a side point here. You know the narrations where it said that when the Rasulullah would do wudu and water would drip from his arms and the Sahaba would run to catch it. The narrations where if he was to spit, the Sahaba would quickly get that spit and rub it all over themselves. All those narrations about these, they weren't narrated by the Sahaba. They were narrated by the Mushrikun. Because the Sahaba, it was not within their, they felt too shy to say this, that they used to do this. But at the same time, it was normal for them. It happened every day. So this gives you a glimpse into the life of the Sahaba and Medina and Rasulullah, which we don't usually hear. You don't hear like one Sahaba saying, yeah, one day I was walking down the street, I saw Rasulullah and I grabbed his, quickly grabbed his spit, rubbed it all over my body and then went to the masjid. I was just saying, you don't hear stuff like that, right? So this has come from one of the mushrikun who are now one of the delegations. This is before Suhail ibn Amr came, right? And he's seeing this, and this struck a chord. And later on, he became Muslim, and he was one of the leaders of Ta'if. And after he became Muslim, his people rejected him. And while he was praying on the top of a cliff, he was praying on. Ta'if is a hilly place, so he was praying on his own. And another person, while he was praying, got an arrow shot him from the back, and he fell down the cliff and he died. radiallahu anh. I forgot his name. Maybe brothers could look it up. Thaqafi was his surname. Thaqafi, because the Thaqifa, Banu Thaqifa, was a tribe of Taif. So that was a little side point. So then Abu Jandal, he's now gone, and the Muslims are distraught. The next day, now it's been agreed also that the Muslims are going to turn back. They can't do Hajj this year. They have to do it next year. Right? That's okay. They can do it next year, but not this year, because the Quraysh, they want to feel a bit of izzah, feel a bit of respect for themselves, that we pushed the Muslims away. They came back when we told them to come back. They didn't come here to do Hajj and Umrah when they wanted to. So there was a point they were putting across. So Rasulullah said, okay, we made preparations to come here to do Umrah and Hajj. We're not able to, so everyone shave your head and let's make our way back. This was the first time that I know in Seerah that the Sahabas did not obey that command. They were distraught, they were annoyed, they were frustrated. They did not obey that command. Okay, hold on, they did not obey that command, right? They were just sitting in silence. He said, shave your heads. They were sitting in silence. Everyone get up and shave your heads. They were sitting